A friendship between football clubs, a Freundschaft. It's fairly common in Germany. You've got Bochum and Bayern. You've got Borussia Dortmund and FC Köln or Weiss Essen. But in England, things are a little bit different. It's a little bit more rare. Today though, ladies and gents, we're going to look at 5 English clubs who share a friendship, a Freundschaft, with German clubs. Let's go.
Oh, a friend? Oh, friend. Oh, friend. Oh, new friend. Oh, friend. He's my friend. Oh, friend. Oh, friend.
Fuck you lot, where's the beer?
Liverpool and Borussia Mönchengladbach. So when we did a stadium tour of Borussia Park back in April, we were excited to find out that Mönchengladbach have the second largest club museum in Germany. First one being Bayern, of course, and at that time of going there, they were creating a whole section on some of their fan friendships, particularly with UK clubs. Now, I'll speak about some of the Scottish connections to German clubs in the future, but today let's focus on the English connection, and that connection comes with Liverpool.
Boo!
Back in the 70s, Borussia were in their golden era under coach Hennes Weiss, hopefully I've got that right. They just won 3 Bundesliga titles in a row in 75, 76 and 77, and 2 UEFA Cups in 75 and later in 79. But back to 1977, they'd make their way to the European Cup, now known as the Champions League, final. Who they'd play? Liverpool, of course.
Boo!
Liverpool had rose to success in England, so although it was the first time either club had made it to the European Cup final, they had played previously in the UEFA Cup final, it was set up to be a fantastic encounter. Liverpool would ultimately win the game 3-1.
Boo!
Right, give it a rest, it's not funny. So they had history competitively, but the friendship started in 1991 when a group of Borussia fans made their way over to Merseyside and gave the victims of the Hillsborough disaster 21,000 Deutschmarks. Unfortunately, we all remember the tragedy of Hillsborough in 1989, but since that initial gift of money, 21,000 Deutschmarks, the Borussia Mönchengladbach fans have made a visit to Anfield at least once a year, every year since 1992. Liverpool fans have repaid the favour. They've headed over to Germany, to Mönchengladbach, every year since 2007, and there's a real strong connection, friendship now between both sets of fans. Again, regardless of what you think of each of these clubs, it's a beautiful friendship. Number 2, Ipswich Town and Fortuna Dusseldorf. So during our most recent visit to Germany, we attended the Mönchengladbach Arena for a game between Fortuna Dusseldorf and Paderborn. It was in that game where I looked behind me, and there was a bloke in a wheelchair, and I noticed on his wheelchair wheels, he had 2 sets of stickers. Of course, Fortuna Dusseldorf, the badge, but also Ipswich Town, the badge. So he spoke good English, we got talking, and yes, Fortuna Dusseldorf share a Freundschaft with Ipswich Town. So the clubs have shared a friendship now for around 18 years with a Dusseldorf-based supporters group called the Fortuna Blues. They make the visit yearly to Portman Road, and more recently this has led to Ipswich Town fans returning the favour and watching Fortuna Dusseldorf games. It could have been mirrored celebrations between both clubs returning to top flight football. Of course, Ipswich Town got promoted to the Premier League, but Fortuna Dusseldorf almost got promoted to the Bundesliga had it not been for this club. Bochum beat Fortuna Dusseldorf in the Bundesliga playoff match. They've often played friendlies against each other pre-season, such as a few months back this past summer. Again, a lovely friendship, great to see. Middlesbrough and Weiss Oberhausen. Again, this is one I was completely unfamiliar with until we took a look around the home of Weiss Oberhausen, the Niederrhein Stadion. So we were escorted around the grounds by a lovely lady who mentioned that they do share a friendship, a Freundschaft, with Middlesbrough. Again, something I wasn't completely aware of, and there was a slight language barrier, so at the time I wasn't completely sure how this friendship started or any of the details. But on further inspection, I found out that it's a bit more of a connection outside of football. You see, Middlesbrough and Oberhausen are twinned town slash city, and they've recently celebrated 50 years of twinning. Although the official connection between both of these places started over 50 years ago, they did have close connections a little bit earlier, all the way back to 1953, when they would do some kind of youth exchange. Middlesbrough under-21s did play Oberhausen this past summer in a tournament which also included Wuppertal and KFC. Not that KFC, this KFC. Dulwich, Hamlet and Altona 93. Now this one's a bit different. I'm not even sure if I'm pronouncing Dulwich, Hamlet correctly, but if you are a subscriber of the channel, and if you're not, here's your chance, subscribe. We did recently visit Altona 93 in Hamburg and their stadium, the Adolf Jäger Kampfbahn. It was there I got chatting to the guy who was looking after the place, and he did mention that an English club would be heading to that stadium in the summer. Now this is to mark 100 years since the very first meeting of those two clubs. That English club being, of course, Dulwich Hamlet, a southeast London based club, of course here in England. This will be the 5th time each clubs have met since that first meeting during Easter of 1925. Decades later, a fan of each clubs would cross paths, leading to a Freundshaft between the clubs and a match at the English club's home in 2015. A 3rd match took place in Hamburg in 2018 and a 4th last year at Champion Hill, Dulwich Hamlet Stadium in 2023. You guys always want me to show some love to some of the smaller clubs, some non-league clubs, so there you go. Altona 93 playing in the 5th tier of German football, Dulwich Hamlet in England playing in the 7th tier of English football. Finally, we have the 2016 Premier League champions, the Fearless Foxes, Leicester City, and a club, of course, close to my heart.
Life is better. Life is better.
The Bundesliga club.
Come on!
Who need no introduction. But I'm going to introduce them anyway.
Bochum, ich liebe dich. Bochum, I love you.
VfL Bochum. You see, the English love story didn't start here at Football Paradise with a strange bloke with a big nose and a dodgy hairline. No, Leicester City fans would head to Germany in the late 2000s on a ground hopping weekend and randomly went to Bochum for a game. Sounds familiar? They walked into a pub and got chatting to some locals and made friends. The rest is history. A fan Freundschaft was born with both sets of fans making the trips each way to watch games. Now I'm going to cut this video short right here because following on from this video later on this week, we're going to touch on that very friendship further. I'm going to make a separate video on that. So if you're interested in that and you've enjoyed this video as well, hit that like button. I'm getting put off because it's absolutely freezing in here. It is snowing, believe it or not, in England. Not much, but it is snow. So that's a bit of a sneak peek as to the behind the scenes of my setup here. Ladies and gents, coming this Monday is a weekly show all about German football, Rise FUSBALL Weekly. It's coming to you every Monday, as I said, so get involved by sending some of your pictures, some of your videos from each weekend's games, and of course, we'll feature them on the channel. It's going to be good. Ladies and gents, Glück auf, auf Wiedersehen, and I'll see you for that video, maybe in Leicester. See you soon.